Hello, friends. It's Pastor Ryan coming from the Menominee campus. Sitting here the second week of Advent, thinking about peace. And lately, I've been reading from the book of Philippians. Philippians is one of the books that our teen Bible quiz is going over. And I find myself, even outside of Bible quizzing and things, going back to this book because it's so rich and it has so much to say about difficult circumstances. During this time of Advent, in thinking about peace, it can be very easy to let my mind wander, and maybe you can relate to this, but looking at the world, all the news, all the bad news, everything that's in circulation about wars and violence, discord, and chaos. It can be overwhelming, and especially now in the age of technology when it's just coming at you every moment of every day, it seems like. One can really look up and wonder, God, how can somebody be peaceful in times like this? One of the more powerful experiences lately reading the book of Philippians for me was reading in chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. I'm just going to read verse 7 first because this is usually what we hear. Verse 7 says, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." That's a powerful claim, that the peace of God will transcend. It transcends all understanding, right? So if I experience the peace of God, it means that even if I don't understand what's going on or why, and I look up and go, God, I don't understand why you're doing this, it's saying I can still experience that peace. I can still be in communion with God, in relationship with God, and have that peace of heart, even in those circumstances, which is very important for us to understand. And it says it will guard our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. As Jesus is our focus and is the center of this peace, we look to him and go, yes, he is the reason I can have peace and the reason I can have peace with God. But verse 7 starts with the word "and," meaning that there is something before that. We need to go back and look, okay, he's saying and what? So we go back to verse 6. Actually, I'm going to go all the way back to verse 4. Paul says, "Rejoice in the Lord always." Always. I will say it again, rejoice. Being very adamant, making the point twice. He's like, rejoice. Maybe you didn't hear me. Rejoice in the Lord always. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. And then he says, do not be anxious about anything. That's a tall order. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So there's something before this. Yes, absolutely, we want to experience the peace of God, and in our chaos and in the just wild world that we live in, and sometimes it looks so dark. We want to experience this peace, and we're calling out to God. God, where are you? Please bring some settling to my soul, to my heart. Before this, it says, don't be anxious about anything, but in everything. First, it says, rejoice in the Lord always. And then it says, don't be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. There's something very powerful about that. What this verse tells us, if you look at it with the right perspective, is that in all circumstances, there is still a reason to be thankful. Not every situation is good. Not everything that we experience is good. Not even close. But in all circumstances, there is something to be thankful for. And we see that at the end of verse 7. Verse 7 says, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Because, friends, we have to operate from the perspective that's outside of just our temporal human perspective. We operate from an eternal perspective, one that looks from outside of time down. God, who is outside of time, who sees all ends and knows where it's going, has told us what to be watching for and what to be ready for, told us that he's coming again. He has said, "It is finished." He is victorious. And there is nothing in this world that you will experience that can undo the cross of Christ. There is no bad in this world that God cannot make right. In the grand scheme of eternity, when we see God face to face and he wipes every tear from our eyes, when he removes the pain and death and sickness and wanting, we'll be able to look back and say, I get it. I see clearly now. And that is something our hearts long for. And so in this time of Advent and this week of peace, I pray that God will open our eyes and help us to see beyond just our immediate circumstances, just beyond the chaos of the world in our current time, and to see through the eyes of eternity and know that he is still on the throne. And no matter what happens, he is victorious in the end. And we have that to look forward to. May that be our thanksgiving, and that our hearts be guarded in Christ Jesus because of that very truth. Have a good week. We'll see you Sunday. And until then, God bless you.